lounging, son.
Welcome back to another episode of the Comic Lounge Podcast, guys. I am your host, from the Infinite Frontier, your boy, the mighty Dillbot. With me, as always, from the nether reaches of the dark part of the multiverse, my boy, Ryan, the Ryan who laughs. We are here, and we're here to talk about comics. And today, we're going to talk about the 4 we picked for this week. The 4 we picked for this week is Justice League 59, Nightwing 77, Ultramega. I just love that word, the combination of the word Ultramega, and Orphan and the Five Beasts. Ryan, let's start off with you since DC is your thing.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll start off with Justice League 59. Brian Michael Bendis starts his run. We have Dave Marquez on art and Tamara Bonvillain on colors.
Tamara Bonvillain.
She's fucking killing. She's like on everything.
She's killing it, dude. She's on everything. Everything that we're reading, bro.
I know. I feel like I keep saying her name. So this is the start of Bendis' run. Now,
it's like Matt Wilson finally took a break, and then Tamara Bonvillain was like, "You know what? I got you, bro."
Yeah. He's like, "I need a fucking break. Can you take over?" And that's what she did. So I'll be honest with you. Like, I had a little bit higher of expectations than what I got when I was done reading. It wasn't bad. I didn't dislike it. I think I was just expecting a lot more because, when Bendis took over Avengers, and I get it. This is like 20 years difference, right? Almost.
Yeah.
But he fucking came in so strong. This one didn't. It was like, I feel like nothing really happened. You know what I mean? Like, we got okay, Black Adam's coming in, right? And now he's going to be on the team. He's kind of good. But, Black Adam has been painted as this anti-hero for a very long time. Yeah. I said in Jeff Johns' JSA, he ran Kandak, I think is how you say that. Kandak. So, he was a ruler.
Please, someone correct this.
I don't know.
If you guys are listening, correct this and put it in the comments.
I've always said Kandak. So, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But he's always been the leader of that country.
We'll see what The Rock says, okay?
Once The Rock says it out loud,
that's how we say it.
This is cool, I guess. We get to we're seeing Black Adam's coming in, Naomi's going to be a part of the team, but the guy that they go up against is just I don't really care. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not like
he doesn't seem too menacing. He kind of ran away, so I'm like, you're trash, bro.
And it's kind of like how he introduced that new villain in Superman when he took over Superman in action. I don't really care. I guess and maybe it's not important to really care about the villain, but I was hoping for there's this villain. This new Justice League team is coming to fight him. Whatever. You know what I mean? But the dialogue was good. He gets the voices of the characters, and I always thought Bendis wrote a good Superman. Not necessarily was I in love with the stories he was writing, but the sound,
the voice,
the voice. You know what I mean? I really heard Superman's voice coming through. Aquaman had a cool moment. This villain is also from I guess Naomi's world in the multiverse, so that's how it's tying in. But I don't know. Green Arrow was cool.
I like the Green Arrow narration. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
the Green Arrow narration was good.
I will say I had a problem with Flash though. You colored the hair red as if it was Wally, but you say it's Barry. And I guess in an interview he's said it's going to be Barry Flash that you're going to see in Justice League whenever you see the Flash, because he's not a part of the main lineup, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a glaring, first of all, how do you miss that? The coloring of the hair. That's important, right? Second of all, why is it Barry? Barry's traveling the multiverse. Why can't you have Wally in here? This is me being very nitpicky in terms of my Justice League and how it's being portrayed. I just felt like nothing happened. Nothing happened in here. The final page, oh cool, okay, Black Adam went to Naomi. Yeah. and that's the end. So I just felt to pull people in, dude, you should have did a little bit more. That's just my opinion. But again, the art was great. The writing wasn't bad. It wasn't very verbose like Bendis can be. So it was I would say it was to me it was kind of a 7.5 out of 10 if I had to grade it. Because
I'd say that. I think the meat of it is going to be what goes on between in the next issue. What goes on between Naomi, whatever the new bad guy's name is, and Shazam.
No, don't call him Shazam, please. Black Adam, dude. His name is Black Adam. It is. Don't call him Shazam. Don't do it. Nick has been doing it to me for 2 weeks now. Don't do it. Don't jump on that train, bro. Please.
Okay, the reason why I was doing that, I mean, aside from the Infinite Frontier issue, the reason why I'm doing that is because they softened Black Adam's design. Like, he doesn't look as like regal and menacing at the same time anymore. He kind of looks like Shazam. Like he looks like Shazam.
I mean, he's always supposed to have been that way, though. He's always supposed to literally be the same costume, but with black.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm talking about the face.
His face was softened. I agree.
Yeah, his face was softened. You know what I mean? But I mean, anyway, I digress. Yeah, like I said, I feel like the meat of it, of what it's getting down to, will be in the second issue or in the third issue, or like a combination of both. Because like right now it's just kind of an introduction. I feel like this was kind of like laying groundwork. You know what I mean? I feel like he didn't get as much opportunity, as much opportunity in the Infinite Frontier Zero as he thought. As he like I'm saying, it's like all Bendis' fault. But yeah, I mean, there are moments in here that I thought were really great. Like when Black Adam shows up to that kid at the graveyard, like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, there's but Bendis is good at that too. He's good at those like little character moments. But like, this is Justice League. This is supposed to be. Give me a little bit more. Make me want to come back the next issue. I'll come back because I like Bendis and I like Dave Marquez and I love Justice League. So I'm going to come back. And there's a little backup story in here that will keep me coming back no matter what, and that's Justice League Dark. And we'll talk about that. But. And when I graded the issue, by the way, that was me grading the first story. It's two separate grades. This is like two comics. This is a problem I have sometimes with Marvel and DC. I feel like they stretch a story that doesn't need to be stretched, because like they're like, it's almost like they're filling out a trade. No, dude. Sometimes I want you to give me a little bit more, a little bit faster. I don't need you to build up to this story when I feel like this could have been half of the first issue. And given me probably what issue?
Yeah, okay. I 100% agree with that. Like, it did feel like a half issue, not a half-ass issue, but we're missing a couple pages.
Exactly, and that's all I'm saying. Like, even Nick was like, I didn't think it was bad, but
it was just short.
And it was just short. So
it ends abruptly, like boom.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Naomi, boom. Where, and then I'm like, wait, is there more? Am I gonna have a little bit more with the team? No. Yeah. Okay. But again, like, it was not a bad story. I want to make sure that that's clear. Like, I like Bendis. I am a fan of his work. There's some of his more recent stuff that maybe I don't like as much, but overall, I'm intrigued. I want to see where this goes next. But let's talk Justice League Dark. You lead in with that, because I know how much of a fan of that team you are.
Justice League Dark. I love Justice League Dark. That's my quintessential friggin' Justice League team. Just as long as you got Zatanna and Constantine, I'm happy. Like, you can add, you can mix and match anyone you want into Justice League Dark. But I feel like that's the core. Like, it all boils down to Zatanna and Constantine, and I love the duo. I love the voices, and it's needless to say that Ron V knows what he's doing with those two characters.
And Zermanico, dude, on art, fucking dope. I like his art a lot. His art. Yeah. I first saw his art on the Green Lantern Black Star series with Grant Morrison. It was the in between season 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And now Zermanico's doing the art on that Infinite Frontier miniseries with Williamson that's going to come out, I think, in June or July. The solicits haven't come out. But, this fucking story was cool.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. There's been a lot of Arthurian lore going on in my life right now. Like, I'm almost caught up. I'm almost finally caught up with Once and Future. And, so good. It's so good. It is so good. And this I'm not saying that this takes any pages or any skips or beats from that, because this is entirely different. Yes, the name is similar, but there's, it's something absolutely completely different. And I love what's going on here. I like how they talked about how two cults met each other at a place because of two different prophecies, and then they met and then they slaughtered each other. Dude, I love that. But Ron V, it goes without saying that Ron V totally gets these characters and totally understands the importance of keeping Justice League dark, even with how this ends. With I'm not gonna should I just say Merlin, because I already said Arthurian. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and we also, if you guys were like reading the Justice League Dark backups in Future State, like we saw the end game for Merlin and how crazy it was, and that's what I was, because like I said, I wasn't reading Justice League Dark. You were, and you told me I should go check it out, which I will catch up. First of all, I love Constantine. I love Zatanna. Like, I want a Zatanna ongoing. I've long wanted an ongoing with her. I think it has the potential to be a really cool series. But whatever, she doesn't get as much shine as she should. I'm a fan. I feel
like her momentum is building though. She's gonna get a show or a movie or something. I know that they're giving her that. So I feel that she's gonna start building momentum. Like all it takes, because I feel like when people think of Zatanna and her stupid fishnet costume and the top hat. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a little silly.
I love this design that she has now, by the way. It's fucking dope.
Her design now, like, it's, dude, she looks like a street performer, a street magician. Like, it is dope because, like, I don't know. Zatanna's always been cool to me, even with her top hat. Like, you know what I mean?
I didn't mind that design, but I love this design. I love the design that Ryan Sook did in the Seven Soldiers of Victory series. The design that they did in that series with Zatanna, she was really cool there too. I'm sure you probably haven't read it. It probably wouldn't have been something on your radar back when it came out, but it's really dope. And again, like the Constantine Zatanna relationship, I'm here for that. I don't mind it. I know there's probably some fans that don't like it and don't think that it shouldn't exist, but the way how different they are, but they're both magic users, like it really creates an interesting dynamic. And Ron V, like I'll keep singing his praises. He has 4 books on my pull list right now, and I will every time he comes out with a book, he's in that category now that I'm just gonna. You got a book, I'm going to throw it up there on the poll because I'm loving everything he's doing. Like we've been talking about, we're going to do an episode on Blue and Green because we both haven't read that yet.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Jason, Ron V is like quickly rising the ranks in my top writers list, and what he does with Justice League Dark has a very big. What he did with Justice League Dark and what he's doing with Justice League Dark has a very big influence on that. On top of my boy Swampy. That's what it really is.
I know. Did you know how many people I recommended that book and have come back to the shop like, you were right? I was like, I know I was right. I always do. I always say that. I'm like, you don't need to tell me I was right. I know. I wouldn't recommend a bad book.
This guy, he comes in and he strictly just gets indie stuff. But every week he asks me, hey, so what big T stuff did you like this week, Dylan? I'm like, nothing really. Like, but this week I told him, I picked up Justice League, but the main story was cool, but it's the backup that was dope. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, why? Like, oh well, Ron V wrote it. It's like, Ron V? All right, I'll pick it up. Speaking of writers who freaking are just absolutely amazing, my boy Tom Taylor, bro. Tom Taylor. And
thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom Taylor. Bruno Redondo, thank you so much for finally allowing me to read a comic book with one of my favorite characters in comics. For 2 years, we've had to fucking suffer through this stupid fucking story of him losing his memory and then becoming like this douchebag that just treats everybody that he knew in his previous life like shit. Like, really, This is a dumb story. It should have lasted 1 arc, and that was it. And it went for 2 years. Our boy's back. Like, they finally gave him the comic he deserved. I tweeted out after that to Tom Taylor, thank you for fucking giving us a Nightwing story. Like, I used to have every Nightwing comic. He was on my pull, Grayson, Nightwing, no matter what book he was in, I have every issue. I stopped with Rick Grayson, and I have not read a Nightwing comic since. This is a fucking tour de force, dude. This is like
This is strong.
Yeah.
This hits all the feels, like in true Tom Taylor fashion. Like, I mean, no one should be really surprised here, right? But like, what is surprising is how we went about it. Like how he just went. He came out of left field with it. Like, you know what I mean? Everything that he did here was top-notch writing. You can tell he loves this character too, right?
Dude, and
Like,
the art too. It's just a full package, dude.
yeah, yes, it is. It really.
I love
is.
and dude, how did they open up with it too?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a young Dick Grayson and
young Babs.
Yeah, and he's coming to the defense of some dude that's getting bullied. Like, yes, dude, that's what I want to see. And like, I'm looking at it right now, like the panel of where this rich fucking piece of shit is like trying to fight Dick Grayson, right? And like the movement of him bending down and then fucking cracking him upside his fucking head, like,
yeah,
the movement in that panel is fucking spot on. Like, this is just, I'm in love with this book, dude. I fucking sold the shit out of this book this week.
Yeah,
we fucking had copies up front. I sold through those, and then we got more from one of the other locations, and it came like later that day, and I fucking sold all those. We have no copies of Nightwing left because
we're done too. We're done.
I just kept selling it. I was like, dude, you guys have to read this. Like, people would come up with their books, and I'm like, you're missing something. And they're like, what? I'm like, you don't have Nightwing. And they're like, why? Should I get it? I'm like, have I ever steered you wrong? Like, that was like multiple times I said.
You pulled the Ryan card?
Yeah, I said it multiple times.
Ryan, Malcolm, have I ever steered you wrong?
Yeah, I was like, have I ever told you to buy a book that you didn't like? And like, they're like, no. And I'm like, buy this fucking book then. Why aren't you buying it? So like, I wouldn't even ask them. I would take the book and I would put it in their pile. And I'm like, you're buying this.
You're buying this.
You're buying this whether you like it or not. Trust me when I tell you that this is my favorite book. It's the best DC book that has come out in Infinite Frontier. I as much as I love Swamp Thing, and I know.
No, I agree.
But
I agree. This is better than Swamp Thing for different reasons.
I mean, dude, I'm telling you, it got me in the feels, like you said. Like, I got choked up towards the end of this issue. I can't even describe to you how much I like legitimately love this book. It really is. It's just phenomenal. Look at this double page spread to open the issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the skyline, like the fucking just the silhouette of him jumping. So good, dude. It's so good. Like, I can't stop saying it. It's so good.
There's something in Tom Taylor's writing that I wouldn't say it's heavy on the heart in the sense that it really like pulls you in and brings you down. But no, this pulls you in, but it fluctuates. It gives you the highs and the lows, right? And Tom Taylor, and almost everything that I read by him, he pulls that off really effortlessly. Like, you know, he did that in X-Men Red. He did that in Deceased. He does that with all the little small stories he does. He did that in all different Wolverine. Like, he humanizes these people, but not to like he brings them down, not but into a human level, but like not to a sense that it weakens them, but it actually, the human part of these superheroes is what gives them strength, right? Like, he doesn't like bullies, so he's gonna be the protector from bullies. And throughout the course of this, he's just lining up who the bullies are and who the bullies aren't, right? Like, so, man, I mean, I love the moments with the dog. I love the moments with Babs, you know, and then and then how he's foreshadowing who the villains are. Like, dude, this is some really freaking
he brought back
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster, dude, from like the Chuck Dixon run. I've been waiting.
Yeah, Blockbuster.
Like, why isn't he a part of fucking Bloodhaven? Look at the way he brutally fucking like that fucking crack as he like with one hand grabs the dude's skull and fucking breaks it. Like, and then you're tying it in with like first of all, Babs in the apartment when Nightwing comes in, he thinks there's somebody's in his fucking apartment. Like, I mean, and she's just standing there, dude. I love Barbara Gordon. Like, this is everything I want in a Nightwing comic, and you gave it to me in one issue. This is how you do an introductory issue to a series where you're in the middle of the series. It's not a number, even if it was a number one, whatever. But like we had Justice League 59. It's kind of a hard sell, right? Like, it's not a number one. And like I told Nick, it's our job as retailers to let people know this is the point you jump onto. That's why I was able to sell the shit out of it. because I'm like, this is where you jump in. You don't need to read all that other shit. Don't worry about what came for the
Don't
last
worry about
2,
it.
3
It
years.
has nothing to do with what's happening now.
Nothing. And oh my god, dude, I'm telling you, I'll say this. I like Nightwing better than Batman. Dick Grayson is my favorite Gotham-related character.
I would have to agree.
You know what I mean? Like, I just like him better. And I have not liked Dick Grayson the way he's been written since Black Mirror by Scott Snyder. When I told people that, they were like, okay, I'll buy the book. You know what I mean? Like, because like that's a high standard that Scott Snyder wrote with that storyline.
No, it's true.
And then here, I'll let you talk about where Tom Taylor hit us in the heart, dude. That final few pages.
Tom Taylor always. I don't care what anybody says. Tom Taylor does this, and he does it. And I've been saying this since I started reading Tom Taylor stuff. Tom Taylor likes to make people cry in public.
He does.
Like, that's his thing.
He wants you weeping at the comic shop.
Yeah, he wants you weeping at a comic shop. He wants you, if you're sitting in the subway and you're reading a comic book, he wants you crying in the subway. He wants you to be stared at while you cry sitting on a bus stop.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, if you're sitting in your cubicle at work reading your comics on your lunch break, he wants you to walk by seeing you cry.
And the thing is, this is the first issue. Like, if he's already starting like this, it's gonna get worse. He's gonna take people away from us.
I know. I mean,
he's gonna take people away from us, and it's gonna be terrible. But Barbara, there's a reason why Barbara was at Dick's house, and it wasn't for Dick. Hey, but
I like that. That was good.
But,
I wouldn't have said
that. But it was actually because she was the executor of Alfred Pennyworth's estate. Now, when you hear that, you're like, Alfred Pennyworth's estate? What? His bed? His cot at Wayne Manor? No. Apparently, my man Alfred Pennyworth was a billionaire.
Yeah, he just a billionaire that liked to take care of others, and
a billionaire that liked to take care of his boys, his sons. Those were his sons. Let's be real here. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. When he said that, right? Because, like, to me, I'm like, well, he's not really Bruce Wayne's son. Because, like, if you think about the age, right, of what Batman would have been, Bruce Wayne would have been at that time when Dick Grayson was 11 or 12. Yeah, like, can you really be the dad, dude? Like, that's odd to me. Of course, Alfred looks at Dick Grayson as his son. When I read that, I literally got this feeling in my chest. I was like, oh. I was like, dude, Tom Taylor, you understand. You understand these characters. That's why I think Tom Taylor should eventually have a Batman run. Because he gets these characters. It's not just Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Alfred. He wrote one Batman annual during Tom King's run. And I'm just, dude, like, you understand these characters.
Yeah. But yeah, but in the letter it explains why he's a billionaire, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I hear Alfred's voice, dude, like just talking to his boys. And you know, the series ends with this, but it also starts with a very proud dad moment that Alfred has when Dick was a kid.
It ties it all together, yeah.
And he ties it all together. He's very very effortless how he does that. How he'll give you something in the beginning and then he'll make it relevant by the end. He did that. He does that in pretty much all his work. How this starts, how this issue 78 starts, and where it ends, like I'm here for it. I give this is easily a 10 out of 10 for me. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, perfect. It's a perfect
out of the park.
Perfect comment.
There's nothing. I have no complaints about this.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, like, if I just keep talking about it, I'm just gonna say how much I love it. So I think we should we jump into the next one. It was a perfect book. Let's talk about some more perfect fucking comics that came out. The indie comics that debuted this week. These two books. Talk about setting the tone. Because if people that are listening and watching, if you listened to last week's episode, you saw what Dylan wanted to read. He messaged me while I was doing polls at the shop. We're switching to this because this book set the tone. Forget that other book. And I was like, I told Nick, I was like, Nick, I was like, I told Dylan to read this, and he had no idea what it was before. And now look. I was like, success. Another win for Ryan. Where don't ignore what I suggest because I will never steer you wrong. Orphan and the motherfucking Five Beasts by James Soko. Tell me you don't love this dude's art. Tell me you are not enamored with his style.
I already knew I was gonna read it, right? I was like, whatever. Oh, it came in, like, you know. And then the manager at Arsenal, he's like, Dylan, you gotta read this. I'm like, yeah, Ryan was telling me about it. It's like, well, Ryan's fucking right. Like, you need to read it. I'm like, all right. And then, you know, we're setting up. Because it was Tuesday morning, right, when I was doing that, because we were setting up for Wednesday. So I was setting up, and then we started separating piles. And then he's like, no, dude, go. And so I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? What the hell? And I'm sitting there. And I'm like, oh, this art is cool. And then I go as the pages progress. I'm like, yo. Yeah. And then he sticks his head out. You're like, yeah, right? It's like, I know. Right? And this is literally like, it was so good. I literally made the post immediately after I read it. Like, you know what I mean? I posted it on my Instagram and told everybody, everybody has to get it. Like, this is if you pick up one indie comic, this is one of them. The art is absolutely phenomenal. The intricacies, how detailed it is. Like, I want to know like how big like his pages, the pages he's drawing on are, because man, like the cross hatching work in this is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
insane. Like,
I knew you were gonna love this book. That was the only reason that I'm like, let's do this book next week, because it was more to make you read it so that you didn't have a choice. But thank God you got a good manager at your shop that also fucking drilled it into you and made you read it. Well, you got paid to read it. You got paid to read the book.
I got paid to read it. I got paid to read it and paid to make the Instagram post.
Yeah. So,
but it was good, dude. Dude, this is up there with Firepower, if not better. To be honest, this is like the way it's setting up, the way it's drawn. Like, not saying anything against Kirkman or Sam Nee, but I feel like this like is heavily into Asian lore, right?
Oh yeah, dude, that's
like heavy into Asian lore, like right down to how the story is told, right down to the setting, right down to just the art style. You know, even it has a manga feel to it without being a manga. You know,
a
manga.
It's
like, even right down to the lettering. The lettering looks like manga. Right.
I love the lettering.
Right?
I think you can't, like, this is one of those times where, like, you cannot ignore the lettering. It is like, I mean, dude, he did everything.
Yeah.
Script, art, letters, cover. I mean, like, what didn't you do? Oh, I guess you didn't have time to publish the book yourself or edit it. You know what I mean? Like, but he didn't
cut the pages.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like, this is the first book that I've read of his. Even though I know of some of, like, he did Godzilla, he did an Alien book. He has a book called Wonton. He has a book called Wonton Soup also that I probably will pick up as soon as, like, we get it back in stock, because we didn't have any at the shop. But I love his style. He did some stuff in, I think it was the Joker Warzone special. During that, he also, like I said, he did the Batman Annual #5 during James Tynion's run, where it was all about Clown Hunter. So this dude's getting more and more prominence, but
this is gonna set him over the top. Like, you know, I feel like if he keeps this up, if he makes this something, if this ends up being like a phenomenal story, it's only 5 issues, right? Or 6. Yeah. If he ends up making this a phenomenal story that can possibly breed spinoffs, dude, I can see this whole world that he's building right now turn into something amazing. I love the name of the villain, the first bandit, the Bandit King, Thunder Thighs.
I know. I literally laughed. I laughed out loud. I was like, you did not just call this motherfucker Thunder Thighs. And then you see this dude, and I'll put this up, but this massive guy on this little ass horse.
But it's a regular size horse. But
well, that's what I'm saying. But he looks really tiny under the weight of Thunder Thighs. And then when you see what he does to the horse, I was like,
that
Jesus
poor
Christ.
horse.
Yeah, dude. And like, this is gory too, by the way. if you don't like that type of stuff in your comics, I get some people are not into that. Then maybe you don't read this because you're going to see a lot of guts and entrails like spewed across, ripped limbs. But like even to like as he's fighting the final battle, like the detail, like the toenail coming over the toe of Thunder Thighs. I'm like, oh, dude, like it's it's breathtaking. The art is just so good. The story, like I don't really want to say too much about the story. Like it's the same thing with like certain books. If it's a new series, I don't want to like ruin anything in terms of like, especially if I don't think a lot of people pick up. Like obviously, Nightwing, Justice League is fine, right? Yeah. But I want people to experience it much like you did. You knew nothing.
I knew nothing.
I knew nothing except I knew his art, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pick it up because I trust this dude's book. Pick it up. It's amazing. I love the book. I can't wait for the next.
I want to see where this goes completely going forward. Like this is some really cool stuff, and if they can build a world off of these 5 issues, like I'm here for it too. And you know the thing is like his art is fantastic, but dude, like I would also like to see other people, like if they do build a world out of this outside of the first 5 issues, I would love to see other artists' interpretations too. That'd be fantastic. I feel like a lot of people can have fun with just what's going on in this world. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, obviously there are artists that I have in mind, but that's neither here nor there because it doesn't matter because James Stocco is killing it. Like if he does the whole freaking thing, it could be he can world build and it could be something like a Mignola-verse, but like. Dude, I'm just thinking way super forward with this, but I can see this going very far. I can see Orphan and the 5 Beasts going very, very far, and I don't say that about a lot of new series. It's amazing. And speaking of going very far, yeah, let's talk about Ultramega.
Another book that I tried to get on the list that were like, well, let's do Iron Man or King of Black Spider. I'm glad I got you to turn.
Well, Ultramega, I knew a little bit of what was going on about Ultramega and what it was about, like, you know what I mean? But where this first issue takes us is like absolutely phenomenal. Like
James Herron. Again, another creator that pretty much did everything by himself, but he got colors by Dave Stewart, who's phenomenal, does all the Hellboy stuff, and then Russ Wooten on letters. And another hit for Skybound. Another hit under Robert Kirkman's banner, dude. Like, the only reason this was harder to sell was the $8 price tag. And the fact that every issue is going to be $8. So, but it's $8 for a reason. It's
like 68 pages or something.
I think it's 44.
Oh, 44 pages.
40, it feels like 6. It feels like more, for sure. And that's a good thing, though. It's not a bad thing. 44 pages of content, no ads, square bound, cardstock cover. I mean, the production is costing more. Look at James Herron's art. I mean, come on, man. Pay this motherfucker $8. This is a great book.
And you want to talk about world building? He does a lot of that here.
This how you fucking world build.
Yeah, this comic I actually just this one issue. It spans like almost 20 years. You know. Yeah. That's what it feels like. It spans almost 20 years, and it sets you up for what exactly is going on. And by the end of it, like it totally flips it on its ear, and you're like, "What? Like, what are they gonna do now?"
It's like the twists constantly in the book. I'm like, "What are you doing to me right now, dude?" Like, I don't even like. I think I'm reading one type of book. Yeah. Then you do something to me here. Then you do something to me again at the end, and I'm just like, dude, I can't wait. I don't know if this is only 3 issues. Somebody said it was a 3-issue series. I mean, obviously, I don't think an $8 book is going to go too long.
I thought it was 5.
Okay. I mean, maybe it is 5. I could be completely wrong. I think it's 5. You're probably right.
I think it's 5, dude. I'll go double check, but yeah, no, you're right. Like the twists, the turns, the art, it's heavy. It's heavy at some points too. Like, holy crap! You want to talk about impending doom? This is all impending doom. This, with the issue's length, it feels like an issue 0 and an issue 1, because that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like issue 0 and issue 1, like together. It doesn't skip a beat. Like the entire time, I felt like I was watching a movie. It's very cinematic in its ways too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes its cues from like like Ultraman stuff like that, but it does it in such a way that like you mix like Ultraman and like Hellboy.
Yeah, no, well,
Kind of like
that's the thing. That's the thing. People were asking me. It's like, well, this guy looks like Ultraman, and Dylan is like Ultraman. I'm like, the only thing Ultraman about it is that they're it's a giant guy fight. It's giant guys fighting giant monsters. Everything else after that is not. It's not Ultraman.
no.
That's the only similarities. Like
Yeah.
that's literally the only similarities. But everything else is like completely new, completely fresh, completely different. There's twists, there's turns. Like you think it's going one way, but it's not going where you think it is at all.
Never. It never does. And so what?
Yeah.
I think that's why I loved it so much because like, first of all, again, I didn't read too much into it. I know James Herron's art. I saw the art for the book, and I'm like, I really love this style, So I will buy it regardless. Like you said, like it opens up with one thing, right? You think it's just like that's it, like back and forth. Like I'm like, wait, did I miss something? No, he's going another direction, and it's not in a bad way. It's not like it's misleading, But it's like you just keep discovering just a little bit more. Like we said with Orphans and the Five Beasts, like we said with Nightwing, this is a good first issue. Like this is a way to bring people in and keep them.
Mm-hmm. I suggested Ultramega to one of our things. He's like, Dylan, is this an $8 book? I'm like, yeah. I was like, but I'm like, it's worth it, dude. Like, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Like, you're really gonna love it. And she was like, okay, Dylan, I trust you. I also suggested Fables to her. So
nice. Don't you? Isn't that such a good feeling when like that's what I love about working at the other bullshit. I like the discount, but it's more rewarding to me when I get people to buy a book and they enjoy it. Because we don't make commission, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I tell people, I'm like, I don't make money off you buying books. It doesn't matter. Like, I could sell fucking $500 of comics to you. Doesn't mean I'm going to get a raise or doesn't mean, like, I make anything. Like, I'm doing it to spread the love of a certain comic book or certain story to other people.
Right.
And I love that you're getting that too, where people just inherently trust.
That's the best. I was doing that all day with Orphan and the Five Beasts. Like I was literally talking about it with the manager. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till Wes gets in here so I can suggest this to him. And then literally like 10 minutes later, we weren't even expecting him that day because it was Tuesday. And literally 10 minutes later, he walks in. He's like, hey Dylan, what's up, man? I'm just trying to put this Witcher statue away. I'm like, dude, I was just talking about you. Really? But was it bad? He's like, no. Why would it be bad? It's like, I don't know. I just feel like when people say that's bad, like no, dude. And then we showed him like, dude, just breeze through this. Don't go to the end, but just breeze through the first couple pages. And he's like, oh yeah, put this in my poll. I'm like, dude, you fucking knew it. You fucking did it. You do. You're gonna love it. Dude. Yeah, no, it's great. And like, if anyone here is watching it and hasn't read any of these books, like Nightwing or Orphan or Ultramega, go pick it up. I know we're sold out of Nightwing and we're sold out of Orphan and the Five Beasts at our shop. We still have plenty of Ultramega though. But like I was trying to sell Ultramega to almost everybody. People were like, it was a hard sell with the $7.99 price tag. But I keep on telling people, it's like, dude, it's worth it. And like it's not what you think, because when you see the cover, you see the fin, and you see the ear.
You get an immediate,
You get immediate Ultraman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of people are into that. Like, not a lot of people are into kaiju. Not a lot of people are into giant robots. Not a lot of people are into like all that stuff.
But, I mean, I'm not really. To be honest, if I'm being completely honest, it's not really my thing. This is my thing. This comic was definitely my thing because, like you said, also it's more than that. It's not what you think. It's not Ultraman.
But the repercussions of those fights are crazy too. That's what got me. The repercussions of the fights and how they really affect like the surrounding environments. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, hold on. I got. It's not spoiling anything, but the blood,
the flood, the
flood of blood, and then it coagulates. Scabs. Oh my god! I was like, I never would have thought to do something like that in a comic. Like, and it makes sense. It's like, yes, this is a massive human being. If he fucking bleeds, it's gonna pour, and it takes over, and it buries. Oh my god! It buries.
I was like, oh my god, there's nobody surviving this. Like,
I was like, these fuckers are dead, dude. Yeah. I'm like, this isn't like, and
the monster designs, dude. Oh,
I know. And like
monster designs. I was reading the letter in the back, right? And the writer who was talking, he started saying stuff like, yeah, and he starts naming stuff off. I'm like, dude, I watched that. And then he was like, Devilman. I'm like, he gets it. Like, he gets it. Devilman is like one of my, like, he was like the golden age of OVA anime. And OVA anime, that's the anime I grew up on. And then all this stuff. And then I thought about it. It just clicked. He's like, oh yeah, this is totally freaking OVA anime in freaking, comic book form. It's violence, it's deepness, it's twists, it's turns. Like, dude, this is it. Like, I love Ultramega. Like,
same, dude. It's not just violence, it's not just action. Like, there is some really strong character work, and I hope that we get something past the 5 issues. I hope that he continues to do this. Maybe because I get it's expensive, and obviously this is a lot of work that he's putting into this shit. This is not like you're not phoning this fucking art in, Yeah. So I hope that it's something we get to revisit. Sean Kirkham, I think he's the vice president creative director or something at Skybound. He shops it. He's good friends with Nick. So he came in and he's like, this is going to be a big book. And he said that like a month ago. He's like, trust me. And we're like, it's $8 though. And he's like, no, it's going to be a big book. Trust me. A lot of people are talking about it in the industry. I see why, I think that this has the potential to be, like you said, Orphans in the 5 Beasts.
Yeah.
I think this has the potential also to be some sort of like a Mignola-verse, like a series of miniseries that we get over and over again. Because like the hype around this book was being talked about prior to the release. A lot of really big creators, and I mean, so far the reviews have been really good. I mean, look at us, like how excited we are. I'm sure we're not the only ones that feel this way. So,
like Ultramega, like
Orphans in the 5 Beasts, Orphans in the 5 Beasts, Nightwing,
Orphans, Nightwing.
Yeah.
We're just speaking it into existence at this point. But yeah, I want movies of all these things.
Same.
I want movies of all these things, and I want credit for for suggesting these.
Yeah,
movies,
I don't be commissioned from like the comic store, but maybe DC, if you want to shill out some money to us, for like helping sell the book.
Yeah,
cool.
or just like letting us go to the premieres.
Yeah,
like, I'll wear a suit.
Dude, maybe just send us some fucking comics for free. Like that'd be cool too. We're not asking.
I know, right? Like
some free comics,
dude,
bro.
DC doesn't even send us advances. Dicks.
I know they started for a minute, right? But I had to like special login. I couldn't share it, and then they just took me off the list out of nowhere. Like I just stopped getting them. I'm like, you know what? I really just don't even care to ask you guys for this. I work at a shop. I'll get them on Monday.
Yeah.
Do I really care to get them on Friday? Like,
shout out to Image though. Image Comics, the homies.
Image and Dark. I gotta forward you the Dark Horse stuff because I get that. I just have to. It was a really good week.
It was a really good week, and it was a surprising week because, like, I walk into the store, I walk into the shop on Monday, and I'm like, "Hey, what came in?" I was like, "Oh, Diamond and Lunar," and I'm like, "Okay, well, what do you get?" And he starts naming stuff off. I'm like, and at first, I'm just like, "Meh." I mean, obviously, I was hyped for Nightwing. Like that was the one I was really looking forward to. That was the one I thought I was like really gonna be like, "Yo, boom, let's do it." And then Ultramega, like, we got the advances like the Friday before, but like, sometimes I don't get to them. Sometimes, but like. I'm so glad that I waited to read it physical, because physical form, like with the turn of the page, it just got more and more exciting, right?
If I'm really excited about a book, I won't read the PDF because we scroll upwards. You know what I mean? It like to me it like kind of kills momentum. Sometimes I've said in the past, like if I'm gonna review it ahead of time, then yeah, like I'll read it obviously. But
yeah, for me it's like you could swipe, but it ruins splash pages.
Like, yeah.
We ruined splash pages. It doesn't have, because splash pages. The best part about them, they're called splash pages for a reason. Because when you open them, they're like boom in your face, and it's huge, 2 pages, and But whatever. Anyway, next week.
Next week we're gonna be talking Batman, Superman, Bitterroot, Detective Comics.
Dude, Shelley Bond has been freaking talking about Bitterroot. Like, I'm loving it. She's just hyping me up, bro.
I know. I love that they brought her on as editor. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, you guys brought my favorite. She's my favorite person in comics. I don't care. It's like she surpasses creators for me. I love talking to her. Every time I get a chance to chat with her, I'm just You know, I'm just always excited for that.
It's the best.
Yeah. So next, like that, those are our picks for this week. Highly recommend all of those. I know Justice League weren't as hyped about, but I still think it's a really solid book. It's a solid start to the run. I'm interested in the lineup, everything like that. Nightwing, Orphans, and the Five Beasts, Ultramega, 10 out of 10s for all three of those books.
Yeah, easy.
And excited to talk about Teen Titans Academy, Detective Comics, Batman, Superman, and Bitterroot next week. But yeah,
Are
that's
they
all
going to show us who Red X is?
No.
They're never going to show us who Red X is.
No.
They're
Probably
never. Exactly. He's just gonna be Shadow Boy. That's that's what I'm referring to him as. He's Shadow Boy. You know, he's like he has one of those like ambiguous haircuts that you like just can't even tell who it is. Like, is it black? Is it black? Is it blonde? Is it red? I don't know. Purple? You don't know. But yeah, we're never gonna see Red X. It's red. His hair's red because he's Red X. But
yeah, so that's all I got. And
if you're not already following us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. You can follow Dylan at The Dillbot on Instagram. Make sure you throw your comments or suggestions down below, or you can also email us, thecomicloungepod@gmail.com, and make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.